Hello. Thank you for joining the Health Screener demo. I'm Bob Gatta. I'm the CEO of Data Display. And with me is Jeff Porter. He's our Chief Technology Officer. And what I thought we would do to start off is I would just give you a brief introduction of Data Display and how and why we developed the Health Screener. So you know, Data Display's been in business for just over 50 years. It was founded by two electrical engineers out of the University of Pennsylvania, with the start of the company being mainly in aircraft gauges and lighting. In the 1980s, we moved to retail, and for retail, we provide the electronics that make the displays come alive in a retail store. So if you go to Target or Best Buy or Walmart and you're interacting with a display, an audio display or a Fitbit display or most of the brand displays, the electronics in that display probably came from Data Display. And we helped with the shopper experience in that. From the 1980s to about 2016, it was mainly putting audio, video, and lighting together to captivate those shoppers. What happened in 2016 is we developed a back-end system. And that back-end system allowed us to track what the shoppers and how the shoppers engage with the electronics in the store. Not only did it allow us to track that, but we could change content and use it as what's called digital signage. And actually, digital signage is Jeff Porter's expertise. He's been in that industry for decades. The reason that I bring that up is because sensor technology and the back-end system and tracking was very important in the development of the Health Screener product. Let me tell you why we developed it. When this pandemic hit, I was the guy out on the floor actually taking everybody's temperature. And then when it became apparent that you needed to ask screening questions, I was also the guy asking screening questions. Every time somebody approached me, I basically said to myself, boy, I hope this person doesn't have a high temperature. And B, I hope I'm complying with and documenting the regulations of this. With that being said, when we looked at our shelves and I was talking to Jeff, we had all of the technology here in Data Display, the sensor technology, the electronics, in the back-end system, so that we could actually make a very customized health screener, take the person out of the equation, so decrease the labor associated with screening employees as they came in, and as importantly, have a documented process where I am documenting my compliance to CDC, state, and local guidelines, and I can now have a firm record keeping that I can then trace back to my payroll data. And 6 months from now, if anybody asks, were you in compliance and can you prove your compliance to CDC, state, and local guidelines, I can easily say that. And the best way to demonstrate that is through this video, through this demonstration. And what I'm going to do is turn it over to Jeff Porter so he can explain the user interface and what a user sees.
Great. Thanks, Bob. So you may notice there's a few Jeff Porters on your Zoom call here today. So there's Jeff Porter that's at my laptop. There's Jeff Porter in the conference room. And then there's Jeff Porter's iPhone. So I thought what I'd do is show you the end user experience first, and then we can go into the back end and see how we can manage that whole process. So here, this is a health screener. So it's a nice floor-mounted unit. It can also be wall-mounted as well. It's got a 10-inch touchscreen here. It's got a temperature sensor that takes your temperature. It's got a motion sensor that knows when somebody walks up, you can flash this little thing here that says, hey, please use sanitizer to begin. And it's got a big reservoir for sanitizer solution. So when somebody walks up, the screen flashes, please use sanitizer to begin. So I'm going to do that. Okay, it goes to the next step. I happen to have a badge handy and a badge reader on the system. So I'm going to do that, and now it starts asking me questions. And I'll show you this as a, close-up in just a second, when it talks about various health questions you might have for your area or your industry. And then it's going to ask you to put your forehead on the yellow dot, and it's going to take your temperature. It's going to submit the results to the cloud, and away we go. Thank you, I passed. So literally, it can be that easy to take a temperature with our new health screener. So let's go back.
Do you want to show them a fail since we're here?
Oh, that's a good idea. So let's say I'm not so good, so let me use a hand sanitizer. I can also type in my name if I don't have cards at my organization. I'll say Jeff P. to be somewhat anonymous. But if I say yes, 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 and now I've admitted that I have COVID pretty much, now it's not even going to bother taking my temperature, and it's going to say, hey, dude, you failed, and it just sent a text message to Bob's phone. So let me zoom in on Bob's phone. Okay, we won't show Bob's passcode. And there we have it. Jeff P. at DDS conference room failed because of their answers.
What's nice is it tells you that the exact unit that the person is standing at, number one. Number two is it tells you why they failed. So in this case, they failed because of the questions. And that text message can be sent to different groups of people. So for example, if you fail because of a question, a screening question, it can be sent to your HR group. If you fail because of a high temperature, it can be sent to either a nurse or an operations manager, another group person, or the HR group, and they can come out with a handheld device and take a secondary temperature verification.
So let me go through what it looks like from the back end. So I've
Can I ask
logged
a
in.
question?
First, yeah.
Oh, sure, please.
So how accurate is that thermometer on your machine?
It's accurate to half a degree Fahrenheit, 0.2 Celsius. So it's the same medical grade temperature sensor that you'll have in the handheld devices, except it's built into the kiosk.
Thank you.
Great. And can you all see Jeff's screen just to make sure?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see up here when I log in, I've got basically a variety of content that looks familiar. It's the little slideshow that I had going before I walked up. It's the pass message, it's the fail message, and I'm recording my results. So let me just go into one of these to show you what it's like. So you can kind of tell I've got a multi-zone region here. I've got weather on the side, I've got time in the corner, I've got a logo down here, and I've got sort of a main area. And I've got in this timeline, a different timeline for each area of the screen. So for instance, if I click on this, I can see the first slide of that presentation, yeah? And if I wanted to upload a new slide, I could easily do that just from, coming here, upload file. I probably have some clip art already loaded, so let me go to that. And healthcare clip art. Let me pull up the governor of Pennsylvania. Whoops. I have to select him first. And I'll throw him into the timeline, and I can move him around, and I can change how long that particular slide is up on the screen. And I can preview what that looks like. And so you can see it's very easy to just drag and drop new JPEGs, videos, PNG files, those kind of things, to add a little bit of a corporate communication thing to or welcome message to your screen. So if the health screener is sitting at the front entrance, it might welcome Mr. Smith from XYZ company. If it's an employee thing, it might say, hey, did you know open enrollment starts next week? Stop by HR to get the right forms, or whatever other kind of information you'd like to do. And if you have different health screeners at different cities with different visitors and different employee messaging, you can control that all individually. So managing your content is pretty darn easy. The other thing that you can do is you can take a look at the questions, and this will give us an idea of I kind of rifled through the questions very quickly, but let me show you what those questions look like. So I have a web-based form that's very easy to set a high temperature threshold. When COVID-19 started, everybody was at 100.4, but then, later it came out, no, you really need to be at 99.5. So if you are in a different state that has a different requirement for the temperature threshold that you want to use for, indicating whether it's safe or not to come into your building, you can enter that as need be. The low temperature reading is there so you can keep track of people that don't actually line up their head. Obviously, if you're taking a temperature of a glancing blow of your ear, it's probably not going to be as accurate as the center of your forehead. So we have a retry message that comes up on the screen that says, hey, please position your head in the middle of the screen about 6 inches away. This is about 6 inches, by the way. And put the yellow dot in the middle of your forehead, and that will get an accurate temperature reading for you. Besides the temperature taking thing, the system can actually send you a message when it's time to refill the sanitizer solution. And generally it'll work, if you fill it up, it'll work for about 1,200 uses. So I just have this set to 900 in case you need to double check that it should be refilled. So you may have seen something that looks like this on the screen. So I'm just going to enter a fictitious employee number. And these were the standard questions that we have in the system. But I can easily change those. So for instance, here's question 1, question 2, question 3. I'm going to add another one. Have you traveled internationally in the last 14 days? Okay, so now if I preview that, there's my employee number. There's question 1, there's question 2, question 3. And there you go. There's exactly the question I had. So updating your questions based on what you need to do in your area is very, very easy. It's just type it into a form. And if you have a bilingual requirement, we can do Spanish. So if you type in your employee number again, and I can do this. Now, we don't translate these automatically for you. You actually need somebody that understands and speaks Spanish. But you can type in those Spanish questions just like you can type in the English questions. And it works really well. So does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very nice.
So before I go, there's only one other thing here on this particular dashboard that I want to show you. Shows you the health and well-being of all the units on your network. Now, this is the data display network, and I can see here I've got Wi-Fi, and all these are online, and that's good. This one at the top here is his Wi-Fi signal is a little bit less, so he's only got 2 bars, and the guy down here has got 3 bars. But you can literally see what's going on with that particular unit. You can remotely view what's going on with that particular device and see a live view of that screen from the comfort of the cloud. And, check on any errors or status messages that you'd like to see.
Question for you.
Yeah, please.
Is there a limitation as to how many people can access the back end portion of this?
We can set up as many users as you'd like. So for instance, here I can set up my settings and my users. So on this particular thing, I have 6 users for this particular account. You can designate them either as an admin or, a normal user, depending on, what privileges you want them to have. But it's very easy to set up multiple users.
Jeff, can you go to the settings portion and show them about the text?
Oh, yeah. Very good. Thank you. So if you want to change your settings for who gets text messages when there's a particular issue, I can type in a cell phone number right there. The servicing list is for reminders about refilling the gel or cleaning the screen. The normal SMS list is for a health notification. So literally, if I wanted to type in a new telephone number here, 610-123-4567, that particular text, number would be added to the list of people that got notified. And you can tell it was pretty quick. From the time that I failed the questionnaire originally to the time Bob got a text message was almost immediate. So you don't have to be hanging around your email waiting for something to happen. It's going to alert you right off the top within a few seconds. The last thing is you can see here, I've got and in fact here you got that spreadsheet just updated here as I refresh my screen. It can tell me what the temperature was, and you can see the people that passed the questions by answering no, and people that didn't pass by answering yes. And that number right there, that 2070760, is the number of the badge that I scanned. So your HR and probably IT guys will know how to match that up with the people, what number corresponds to what people. We're being pretty careful about HIPAA type things and trying to be anonymous about this. So we'd rather have some designator, and the people that obviously have a need to know about that particular person will have access to the lookup table between the employee ID number in the badge and the person's name. If you have a visitor visiting and they don't have a badge, obviously you can do something like I've done here, Jeff P. Just type that in. Maybe you say Jeff P. from Uline is visiting today. They want to sell us some supplies for our company. That's fine. And you can do that. So this spreadsheet is live. It will update within just a few seconds of a new reading showing up. And we use it here as well for our own employees as they come into work every day, so Bob doesn't have to do that anymore.
We have some customers, just to let you know, this product is being used in healthcare, it's being used in pharmaceutical, professional services, manufacturing type businesses, gyms. Not everybody, particularly when you get to professional services, has an employee ID number. Lots of times what they do there is they'll use their phone extension, or like Jeff said, if they've got a visitor, it'll be Jeff P. USDA.
Right.
Or with gyms, it's a lot of the Jeff P. types of situations.
Right.
I'm sorry, was there a question?
I was just going to ask how long this information is stored here on the spreadsheet.
We keep a rolling 60-day record, and you can easily download this online spreadsheet here. So I can download to Excel. So it's very easy to keep this for historical purposes. And just do that once a month, and you'll keep track of all the readings in case you need to submit that for an audit, a health audit.
Thank you.
Question.
Yes,
Can this data tie into a payroll system?
Well, there is no. The only thing we have is we have an ancillary spreadsheet that we can share with you that helps you line up names from your payroll system to the numbers that show up here. So
Okay.
if you fill out the lookup table in the spreadsheet, then it's a little bit easier to track down who 2070760 is. But there's no actual hookup to the payroll system.
There's actually a reason that we did that, and that's for a little bit of HIPAA compliance. Two things. We didn't want our system from a security standpoint to tie into any internal system because we are capturing medical data and health data about employees, and we've made a special point to capture that in a nondescript way. So we've kept it outside of the payroll system. And these are actually two separate things. So for example, here at Data Display, I have a lot of people who have access to be able to change the digital signage portion. So our operations manager can change the digital signage portion of this out in, he can change any of the units, but out in his facility, he can say open enrollment next Thursday. We have admin personnel that can change the digital signage for our front lobby to say, welcome Jeff from Data Display. But only 2 people have access to the health information. And by keeping that separate and not tying into any other payroll information backend system, it limits the number of people who have access to health data.
Understood.
So that's the
Thank you.
yeah.
So that's pretty much it. So it's really, it's a turnkey device. It allows you to remotely control all your content and see what you're doing, monitor your players, check your spreadsheets, get a text message if there's a problem. And, you know, these have been shipping for quite a few months, and we have units in stock, so we're happy to take orders.
Absolutely.
One other question. Assuming that vaccine rollout is successful and the pandemic comes to an end in the matter of months, not years, can we do anything else with this?
You know, it's an interesting question, and what I'm learning in talking to our value-added resellers and companies in particular is they are actually seeing very much a cultural change here in swing, and that they don't see this type of testing as going away anytime soon, particularly in the healthcare industry. But even when I talk to businesses, not only, you know, do we have COVID now, but the flu season is also very disruptive to a business. And the idea that you're sending a message that you're keeping your employees and visitors safe is an important message to send. And so that's why they see this continuing long after the pandemic. Additionally, it has a very nice digital signage aspect of it. And one thing that we haven't mentioned is you have to use the hand sanitizer before interacting with the screen. So even if it was a situation where, you know, you didn't want to take the temperature sensors, you still have a very nice digital signage platform and a hand sanitizers in your system. But again, most businesses are continuing the practice and the cultural change and almost a paradigm shift here to send the message that it's important to keep our employees and visitors safe while they're working.
Some of our customers are running big factories, and, you know, they run thousands of people through these systems every day. And, you know, it's interesting to know that if you wanted to put bigger screens on the shop floor to echo the messaging that you have as you walk in the building, you can do that and operate that from the same system. So it's very easy to add ancillary screens to your network and have it all linked together.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
I just have a
is
quick
there
one.
a
Go ahead.
is there a warranty?
Yes, there is a warranty. We have a 1-year warranty with the system. Hopefully you guys can still see us. I just got a message on the screen. But there is a 1-year warranty with the system. And if anything happens with the system, we also have a call-in number and support line. We provide training for you, so we're not just going to, you know, leave you here without any training. So full training, support line, warranty. If something goes wrong with the system, we'll actually send you a new system already set up, ready to go, and you can just plug and play.
I think you'll find that this system is pretty well thought out. In other words, we thought about all the things that you might need to do in order to like keep your employees safe, track your records, you know, provide information, do the sanitizing thing, and do it cost effectively. So a lot of people, you know, that got started in this started out with actually having to hire a nurse at every door to their business, right? And they had a little handheld temperature gun, a piece of paper, writing all that stuff down. And, you know, that gets expensive, and the audit trail is pretty iffy at best. So this can be a very cost-effective way to automate that process and make sure that everybody is safe and secure.
Any other questions?
Oh, good.
I do have a question. Is there an ability to control door access with this?
Oh, that's a great question. We do have a set of dry contact relays in the unit. So if your security system vendor is interested in doing that, feel free to contact us about doing that. But so if that needed to trigger a turnstile or a door solenoid or something like that, that can be plugged into the system.
Great.
Any other questions?
All right, well, thank you for participating. You know, feel free to contact either Jeff or myself if you have any questions.